Hi, Achim here from InnerSpace Explorers. Today I want to talk a little bit about artifact recovery, yes, no, why, etc. And it's actually very up to date for me because if you wonder where I am, I'm sitting in my cabin on a dive board, on a liverboard, on top of Thistlegorm in the Red Sea in Egypt. And it's the Patron Safari, which is awesome, by the way. And we dove Thistlegorm today, and I've been here. I don't know how often. I've been diving this wreck a lot, and I've seen how it changed over the years or over the decades. Meanwhile, and it always makes me very, very sad. And we talked a little bit about this when we were debriefing the dive, and so I thought that's probably the best opportunity to do this video because the topic is on my list for quite a while. So before we get into that topic, if you like my content, please hit the like button and subscribe if you have not done that yet. And if you subscribe, hit that little notification bell so you get an update when I upload new content, which is normally once a week. So, artifact recovery, that's a very controversial topic, and a lot of different opinions, and just want to basically want to also hear your opinion about it. So let me know in the comment section how you think about it. The thing is, and it's also difficult for me, and the topic came up again after my last Festus project because I recovered the bill there, which is a bit of a special case because I bought the wreck. And on the other hand, there's no real wreck anymore, and most probably nobody ever will dive that again. And that makes it a bit of a special situation. And then the question is always, what is an artifact and what do you do with it? At least from my opinion. So there's a lot of wrecks where this is completely okay, and everybody's doing it, and it's legal. To get a famous example, like the Andrea Doria, dozens of divers dive the wreck every year, and everybody's going to bring his very own price, so to speak. May it be some brass, or most of them go for Chinaware from this famous Italian liner. I have some as well. And first of all, it's legally okay, so nobody's going to fine you because you take a plate from Andrea Doria. The other thing is, does it harm the wreck? So I don't want to specifically talk about Andrea Doria because obviously divers took other stuff from it, but let's talk about this China. So obviously, if in that, let's say, first class dining era there is 5,000 plates or there's 3,000 plates, will not make a difference for the diver going there. On the other hand, the wreck's deteriorating, collapsing, and at some point even the dishes that are still in there will be broken by simply the fact that the wreck itself is collapsing and obviously destroying whatever is in there. So in my personal opinion, it doesn't harm anybody. It doesn't make the wreck less interesting for other divers going there. And it's an artifact that you can bring home, restore, and kind of put on display, even if it's online or on meetings or whatever. And I've seen a lot of that being displayed on stuff like that, and a lot of people can enjoy it, especially also those that cannot dive the wreck. So from my opinion, that's completely okay. And then when you look at the opposite side, like here on the Thistlegorm, so first of all, meanwhile, it's World Heritage, whatever, so it's protected. And there's nothing to steal anymore, that's the other thing. But for those of you who don't know the wreck, I'll put a link in the description where you can read the history a little bit. So it's one of the world's most famous wrecks, so to speak. And it's a cargo ship that sank in World War II, and it was loaded with ammunition and trucks and motorbikes and plane engines and locomotives, and there's a lot of stuff on it. Super nice to dive. There's also a link in the description to a video from the wreck that I made a couple of years ago to give you a better idea of it. So yeah, so Jacques Cousteau was actually diving the wreck. It sank in 44 or in 41, I can't remember, it doesn't matter. So it sank during Second World War, And Jacques Cousteau, I think 14 years after its sinking, rediscovered it, dove it, and he recovered the bell, a motorbike, and a couple of other things. So somebody recovered one of these motorbikes. There's plenty of them in that wreck. So they restored it, they put it somewhere on display. All right, fine, fair enough. If you dive the wreck today, none of these motorbikes has its handlebars, its lights, its instruments, nothing. That's all stolen. And I always scratch my hand and ask myself, why do somebody break off the handlebar of one of these motorbikes? For what? I mean, most likely you cannot bring it outside of the country. Yeah, I mean, if you show up at the airport with a coral encrusted piece of motorbike, it's probably not going to work. So most of these things most probably ended up in a trash bin somewhere. And I can also not imagine somebody taking that motorbike handle and restoring it at home and then putting it on a display. That's a motorbike handle from Sisselgorm. If I'm wrong on that, let me know. But it's not an artifact that you can worship, that you can show to other people, that you can make nice and pretty again, because it's just a torn piece of something. So it's not that you take up something with value that you can display or show others to educate them or anything like that. You just destroyed something underwater that other people could enjoy diving it, especially if you see how many people dive this wreck. And when I compare it, diving it 15 years ago and diving it today, it's a total drama. And so obviously that doesn't make any sense at all. Same thing goes like ripping out portholes, etc., etc., etc. So those of you who watch my channel regularly have seen me in front of artifacts and in front of portals. And yes, I took stuff when I was young because I didn't know better and it was a different time and it was more accepted or people didn't care about. And obviously you learn when you're getting older and you get a different view and you get more responsible, and then you have to realize that this is wrong. And for example, I have a portal from a wreck in Italy where the government actually said, we did an inspection tour, we figured there's damage on the wreck, we reported it, we showed video, and the authorities said there's 3 portholes on that plate. If you want to recover these, they are off the wreck, nobody will find them. They are a couple of meters off the wreck in the sand. So if you want to take these like a little bit of a reward for your work, this is fine for us. So we took him, I restored it, put it on the wall, super nice. If you go to Sisselgorm, for example, or one of those wrecks and you rip out a porthole, you may be like, yeah, it's just one porthole. But if every other diver also says it's just one porthole, there's no portholes left. And it's one of these unique features that a diver that goes along the wreck or through the wreck is like, okay, that makes it a wreck. Yeah, it's just not a steel hull with a couple of holes. So obviously you don't want to do that. So the list and the argument could go on forever, and there's probably back and forth for every single artifact that I could name. And a lot of times I hear people say like, yeah, if I don't take it, somebody else will take it. Yeah, but that is kind of a pretty weak excuse. You shouldn't touch it. And there's actually errors. For example, the Great Lakes in the US and Canada, there's a couple of wrecks that are preserved, and they're actually preserved by the community, which I find awesome because the people just agreed that this is something that's worth preserving. And so they kind of watch each other to not take anything, and they also watch people that come and visit and make it crystal clear that this is not allowed and they're not going to tolerate it, which I find awesome. And there's other examples. I actually talked today to somebody here on the boat that told me about a wreck and said, yes, I was in the former kitchen and there was the frying pans, and I realized somebody screwed them there. So they are screwed into the wreck, so people cannot steal it. So the wreck was obviously prepared by a dive center or whatever, and they had to like really install the artifacts to the wreck with bolts and screws so people don't take them. So that's a very poor thing and shines a very bad light on us as divers that this is necessary. Anyway, I basically didn't want to teach anything here or throw my opinion on you. I just wanted to uh, leave off a little bit of steam, which I always have when I dive Thistlegorm, because I find this so super sad and disappointing. And I would love to see a little bit of a discussion going on here, and hear and read your opinion on this and your experience on it, and probably very different from the different parts of the world from where you are. And I'm really looking forward to that. Other than that, this video is probably published after I'm back, because the internet connection here is pretty bad, but I had to do it on site, so to speak. And stay safe. See you in the next video, and I'm really looking forward to your comments. Bye bye.